Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I am getting a little behind. Today's Monday, March 8th, and hopefully I'll get this video up today. But I'm doing Paycheck 2, which happened on March 5th. It's crazy. A lot's been going on, but the paydays were back to back, so close to one another. I thought I'd spread the videos out a little bit, but I am a little behind. I wanted to get this up this weekend and not today on Monday, but here I am. I'm ready to do this, and let's get started. So Paycheck 2, I've already completed and closed out Paycheck 1. I did that with my weekly check-in. So if you think you're missing Paycheck 1 closeout, it's part of the weekly check-in. Weekly check-in was so short. I just put the two together. It made sense, and that's what I did. So we closed out with $561.65, and that will be my balance forward for Paycheck 2. And then you're going to see what my husband actually got for income, and we're going to start with there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you in on the sheet so you can see what I'm writing, and we'll get started with the Paycheck 2 budget setup. So I will be right back. Okay, we are all zoomed in and ready to start with Paycheck 2. So I'm going to check my notes I have off to the side as I'm writing to make sure I write the correct numbers down. I did at least do that much, so that is good. Income, balance forward. Is what we have first, and that was, as I said before, $561.65. So this was just cash sitting in my checking account that had no assigned job other than to sit in the bank account. We call it a buffer, we call it a cushion, we call it whatever we want to call it. I just call it my balance forward because I just keep moving it from paycheck to paycheck. And it keeps me from having to be concerned with forgetting a bill or forgetting that I needed to pay something and it pops up and I have the cash to do it without having to go into my emergency fund. And that's the best way, I think, to have that in your checking account to prepare for unexpected things like that. So I love that. And then I can also decide whether I need to use it for something that I want or need for the future. So that's there. Now, my husband did get a pay raise this year. It's a slight raise. I normally budget $2,271.04. That's what it was before. It's up by $44. So his new salary, and when I say salary, I mean salary over only. No overtime money. His Roth is already taken out. His taxes are taken out, and any other things that need to be taken out of the paycheck before he gets paid. This is the actual deposit. So this is what's left over in his paycheck that he actually gets deposited in his bank account, or in our bank account, for the family. And this is what I budget with, $2,313.28. So the total there, let's calculate that real quick. $561.65 plus $2,313.28. And we get move this over here, $2,874.93. So that is what I am budgeting, but it's also my actuals because I'm late doing this. So I'm just going to write it on both sides and it'll be the exact same numbers. 561.65, 2,313.28, and then 2,874.93. Okay. So now that we know how much actual cash we have in our checking account, we can budget for the 2 weeks or 14 days that we need to budget for our bills that come out during this time period. And the time period we're talking is the 5th of March through the 18th of March. So those are the dates we are working with. We need to make sure we have enough spending money in our or cash envelopes. I use spending money in my bank account. I spend straight from my bank account. I don't use cash envelopes, but the way I kind of compartmentalize my bank account, it's like using a cash envelope. It's just in my mind, I have to track it and log it in my weekly check-ins and things like that, or my log sheets transaction log sheets. So I know exactly how much I can spend in what category. And I have 4 set up categories. So I have my bills that I need to put down here. I have my spending categories, which are 4 categories. And then if I'm going to spend above and beyond that, if there's enough room in the buffer or the balance 4 that I use, I can use that. And that will be after the fact. So it won't be counted in the budget, but it will be counted in the actuals. So we had no over and unders here, no surprises. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this up and I'm going to start filling this in on all those bills, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So I have it all written down. A couple things have already come out. Even though electric's not due until like later in the month, when my husband got paid on the 5th and it was due like on the 17th or 18th or something like that, before the next pay period, I go ahead and take it out on the day my husband gets his paycheck. If I have a manual, where I manually go in and pay for a bill. And my utilities, I manually pay because I want to go and be intentional and look at the utilities before they're paid to see if there's any major fluctuations that are kind of weird. And that's what I do. So electric, yes, that's already been paid. I've gotten it taken out. Tithing came out on Sunday, which was yesterday. And yes, I do have that automated, but when we watch our services and we're at service, we do come to God respectfully with the tithing that we've already made or about to make based on our transaction where it's automatically taken out. So we make sure we do that every Sunday. Instant ink went up a lot because I just did a lot of extra printing, but it was just for the 1 month and I don't plan to do that in the future. So I didn't want to change how much the monthly subscription was. So I'm just paying out of pocket whatever it was above. I'm guessing how much it is. And if you probably looked at some of my other budget monthly, it said $12 what it normally is. And because I knew during this paycheck period it was going to be high, I decided to bump it up to 30, and I'm just waiting for the bill to happen. I did go online and look to see how much it was, and when I did, it was close to the $30 mark. So it may be right at or below or right above this number. So this gives me a better picture of what the budget is. So these budgeted numbers don't even have to match the monthly if you know there are changes coming. And that's the best thing about paper budgeting. You can change the numbers. You can change the budget to fit what you know is coming up next. Or even in your apps, things like that. Let's see. We have Geico, Sling, which is our entertainment streaming service. HBO Max is a new one. A lot of new movies are coming out on HBO Max that are in theaters, and we just don't go to theaters in my family, so not right now anyway. So we're just doing them at home, movies at home. Life insurance, electric, like I said before, and then my spending categories. So normally I would have spending categories on the first paycheck period at an even number. But when you get to paycheck 2, you do adjustments. And if you saw my paycheck to paycheck every dollar video, you would see where I had $1.93 left over in grocery household from paycheck 1. And I just added it paycheck 2 because I like to budget within a certain amount of money. And I pull my notes on my weekly check-in and show you that in my notebook. So I pre-plan how much I want for the month, and then I divide it for the month for what I need for my paycheck periods and when I'm spending it. So this is how that looks. So I break it down by the week. I'll put this down. And so this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. That's what I'm doing for the month of March, is 5 weeks. It just kind of fell along those lines and worked better for me, so I broke it up into 5. But for the month, this is what I want total. In order to keep it within that $1,200 for grocery household, I need to divide it up between these 5 weeks. And that carrying over what I ended paycheck 1 with to paycheck 2, which consists of week 2 and 3, adding these together plus what I had from paycheck 1 left over allows me to stay within this number. Now I could take what I ended with in paycheck 1 and put it towards savings. And we ended with $28.01. But I like carrying it over until the end of the month and then putting the money away into savings if there's anything left over. That's how I get what's left over for savings, is at the end of the month. So I can make sure I have enough or the extra I need throughout the month until it's time to put it in savings at the last paycheck of the month. So that's why these numbers are either a little higher or lower. Restaurants was a little higher. I did schedule like $250 or $60. Can't remember. For the 2 weeks, and I just rolled over what was the difference from paycheck 1, and then miscellaneous, same thing, and then I lowered gasoline because I spent above what I budgeted last paycheck period, which was only $50, and I spent $65. So to compensate for that, so I can stay within the $250, I lowered what I have available in gas for paycheck 2, which is fine because honestly, we're not spending all this category throughout the month. So by the end of the month, I still will have a surplus for this specific category. Now, that is basically paycheck 2. We're going to total up these numbers, and then we're going to find out what our total is, and then we're going to take our income minus our expenses. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I will be right back. And there we go. So here's the number I have for my total that I need to spend. And as you can see, I have plenty of money in the checking account to cover what I need to spend here. What is necessary that is going to be either auto drafted or actually, or a bill I have to pay, or whatever you want to say. So $1,786.58 is the amount. I'm gonna have to get a new pen. This looks like it's fading pretty good. It looks more gray than black when I write. So what I'm gonna do is take this number, I'm gonna put a negative in front of it. I'm gonna add this $2,874.93. So I came up with, in the budget, $1,088.35. There we go. So that's what we have there. Hold on a second. I got 2 sheets here. I'm not sure why. There we go. I don't know why I had 2 sheets. They were just stuck together. So yes, this is what I have left over. Now, I've already got plans for this money. I have not written it down here yet, but I will write a sticky note. And it'll just say pay off stove. And let me see if I can get this written down. Pay Visa. I'll write this on camera. And then stove for, let me see if I can find the receipt. All right, so it was $871.92. All right, so I'm leaving a note for myself to pay Visa, but I don't know when I want to pay it. What I had done is, we have a stove, and I mentioned this in my other videos too, that is going kaput on us. And I want to, I went ahead and bought a new stove. It'll actually be here Wednesday, and today is Monday. So it'll be here Wednesday. We paid $871.92 for the stove, free delivery. I am paying them to install it and remove the old stove that we have, because the burners are not working and it's getting harder and harder to cook. So we had to buy a new one, but we put it on our credit card, our Visa, and we pay it off. Now our goal is to keep our credit card paid off, because we think credit cards are dangerous and bad and negative. But in this society, the way things work and way things work easily is with credit cards. So the stove that we purchased, we put on a credit card, and then at the end of the paycheck too, within the same period or same month that I purchased it in, I will be paying that amount off, and I'm going to be using this buffer to do that. And that's quite a bit amount, but I'm not going to do it until till I look at paycheck 2 here, and then paycheck 3. Do I need money from paycheck 2 to cover paycheck 3? So once I do the numbers between those 2 time periods on what I actually need, then I'll know if I can take it out here, or should I just wait until paycheck 3 and take it out? Have not decided. And then I also have another reminder here. I did make a Kindle purchase. Let's see. There we go. For $12.99. Now my budget's going to be off by $12.99 because it was a pre-order of a devotional book that I wanted, and I didn't know they weren't going to charge me right away. So I've already got it in the budget in my spending categories, so that's going to be off by $12.99 when I look at my bank and compare my bank number to my actual categories. So this is just a reminder not to freak out when it's $12.99 and that hasn't come out, that should have come out, and where it's from. So little notes like that could really help keep you in check with your budget. So I'm going to zoom back out real quick, and there we go. Paycheck 1, closeout, done. Balance forward, moved here. Paycheck 2, my notes to remind me what's going on with paycheck 2 and how the money is going to be spent, so I don't overspend in these categories. And then I just keep a running log of my actuals and things like that. Now, as far as things like my spending categories, I have 2 ways that I kind of keep an eye on it. The first way, both of them are weekly kind of check-ins, so I have to combine 2 weeks here to give me paycheck 2. But I do have it broken down weekly in my other 2 trackers. And yes, I have several trackers on how I spend my spending categories. And that's how I know every time I spend that I'm in a good standing or not, or if I need to stop and slow down for a bit because I only have so much limited. First is the something I don't show very often. I used to show all the time because it was the only way I tracked, but then I got into the weekly check-in and I fell in love with it, so I started doing that, and people really love that. But I do grocery and household transaction logs, restaurants, and miscellaneous and gasoline. So when I do this, that first week of budgeting, whatever it is I budget, I put the number down, I put what days it's budgeted for, and then I start subtracting out. And then when my husband gets paid, it gets replenished. I do 1 week's worth because I can use this to track for my weekly check-in calendar spending. These are the same thing. These are all individual stickers with all those same purchases that you see here on this page as well. So these do not have anything to do with bills. This is all just spending. So most people like looking at it this way, and I do too. I like seeing how much I'm spending in one day and stuff like that, and what are my trends. And then I do my weekly check-in. But I have to know personally, day by day, exactly to the penny, what I have left available. Right now, I know for this week leading up to, what is Friday, the 12th? 12th, 13th, something like that. Whatever Friday is after the 9th here. And the 9th is actually tomorrow, because I went ahead, last couple months I've been forgetting to put HelloFresh in my grocery household. So I have a sticky note to remind me. I mark it off when I put it in here. But every beginning of the week, I try to make sure I have that in there. So I know right now available, because this week a HelloFresh is coming out, I only have $89.20 available for this week. And then I'll replenish again every week, just like I do in my weekly check-in on how the categories are spent. So that's what this is how I love doing it, because I have to the penny. I know I have $29 or $89.20 for grocery household. I know I have $24.26 for this week alone in restaurants. I know miscellaneous has $32.72. I bought a bunch of t-shirts on Etsy the other day, getting my summer t-shirt wardrobe ready. So, and somebody had their t-shirts for like less than $13 a shirt. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I got all these, Christian ones, these, faith and, faith-based shirts. So I had all these quotes and scriptures and stuff like that, and I absolutely loved it. I know I have $1.32 in gas for the rest of this week, but on Friday this will replenish. So that's what I love to do with budgeting. So if you're looking for other things, I do sell all these sheets in my Etsy store, Lisa's Faith Budget Plan. It's in the description box below. And if you think this is something that could help you out, I would love for you to check it out and buy a cheap budget sheet. I do decorative budget sheets. I have plain budget sheets if you don't want anything decorative. That's just straight, you know, you can use paycheck to paycheck or month to month. I think I have a copy. Hold on one second. If you like to use a transaction log, it's plain, simple, straightforward. I still do the graying out. I just like how that looks. Sinking funds, savings tracker, debt tracker, all of those things. I have all of those in the shop, and they're just the plain sheets. I have weekly check-in. Let's see. I have paychecks 1 through 5. There we go. Here's paycheck 1. So here's paycheck, just paycheck 1, no header, same design and layout. I changed the font a little bit and just made it easier for anybody to use, basically. Budget sheet, this is the expenses one, and just simple, straightforward. I do have a fixed and variable one if you're interested in that. And then, let's see, that's a 1-page budget expenses. And then I've been testing the waters with like trackers like this with little houses, and this savings tracker for a house and your savings goal, and you get to put the numbers in, as well as little piggies. These are my favorite. I do this at the end of the month. Well, this month I probably won't have a lot to put in savings, but if I can get $365, I can get a little piggy colored in, so I'll do that. And then a mason jar. Now this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 10. I adjusted this to 12, so it'd be 12 months. And but the same mason jar, and it goes up a little bit higher here. So that's what I have in my shop if you're interested. If you don't want the decorative and you need something simple like this, because this might be too much, or you don't like to use a lot of ink, these budget sheets would be perfect for that. So okay, that's enough plug for my shop. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Have a blessed and amazing day. Bye.